What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are gonna finally talk about one of my favorite and what I consider one of the most underutilized, underappreciated overdrives on the market. And then we're gonna give it away. This is the MXR M77 Custom Badass Modified Overdrive. Let's do it. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, I just spit everywhere. My name is Kyle. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple SM57 setup, except for today, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs, dropsy hardcore riffs, and dudes that forget to change their tagline accordingly, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on the way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Trying some different inflections on my voice for this intro. Didn't work. Thanks. All right, guys, so I am actually really excited for today's video for a couple of reasons. Number one, you guys have been asking me to make a video on the MXR M77 Custom Badass Modified Overdrive pretty much since I started the channel, because way back when I did start the channel, I mentioned very early on that this is one of my absolute favorite overdrives on the market. And in the 3.5 years that this channel has been alive, it was birthed at one point and now it's living. That has not changed. This is still a go-to overdrive for me for many different scenarios, many different amps and guitars. And after trying hundreds of new overdrives in that time, I still think it holds up just as well as ever. So that is reason number one. Reason number two is because Sweetwater is not only sponsoring this video, but they have sent me a brand new MXR M77 overdrive to give away to one of you guys. So make sure to stay to the very end of the video so you guys can figure out how to get in on the giveaway and hopefully put one of these badasses in your arsenal. I couldn't even say that with a straight face. So why do I love this overdrive so much? Back in, I wanna say around 2012, 2013, right around the time that this overdrive came out is when I was kind of discovering overdrives for myself for the first time. I owned a PV 6505 and a PV XXX at that time, and I kind of just went crazy with my tax return that year and bought a whole bunch of different overdrive pedals to try out in front of those amplifiers and see which ones that I liked the best. I think I grabbed 15 or 16 total. There were quite a few, and that was before the massive boutique pedal boom had really kind of started. So I basically just grabbed a lot of what was out there and what was available at the time, and I pretty quickly realized that the M77 was my number one. It was my favorite, and it was one of the very few of those 16 overdrives that actually stayed with me for a long time. This pedal was my only overdrive on my board for almost 7 years until I started the channel and started experimenting with some more stuff. This pedal went to Europe and back with me. This pedal went around the US with me, so got a lot of experience and a lot of love for this pedal. Now, what I think makes it so special is, number one, just the general voicing of the pedal itself is really, really good with, you know, the tone and the 100 Hertz knob pointed straight up at noon and the bump switch in. That's just an overdrive tone that I'm very, very familiar with. It's definitely smoother than something like, say, a Boss SD1, and the mids that it boosts are a little bit broader than something like a TS9, but it also does not remove as much low and low mid as either of those pedals unless you want it to. Because on top of the output, gain, and tone controls that you'll find on those other two classics, this one has a bump switch and a low or a 100 hertz control. So the 100 hertz obviously controls your 100 hertz frequency, which if you're not familiar with the frequencies of a guitar tone, 100 hertz is basically that bass frequency where when you hit those palm mutes, it really starts to punch through. I don't know what that hand motion was. Don't think about it out of context, but that's a very important frequency when it comes to the low end of a guitar. So to be able to fine tune that by either cutting it, dialing it back, or boosting it, dialing it up, in my opinion, is very helpful in the context of a guitar tone. But on top of that, the tone control itself is very sensitive, and it really kind of boosts those upper mids more than anything. So you can really get a nice grind out of this pedal by boosting or turning that tone control up. And then the bump switch is actually a low and low mid bump. So when you kick this in, not only do you get more lows and low mids than with it off, but it also kind of boosts the signal and actually, you know, seems to make the pedal a little bit hotter. So we do have two more controls than something like a TS9 or an SD1, but everything is very intuitive and it's a really easy pedal to figure out and dial in on the fly to get what you want out of it. So with that being said, we're gonna check it out with three classic amplifiers. You guys heard it through the Marshall JCM 900 already. That was what we played in the intro clip. And even with the controls at noon, I think it made a pretty significant difference overall in the tone. But let's just run through these controls real quick and I'll show you the range that they have. So as you can see, we've got a good range in both of these two knobs up top, but that bump switch makes a massive difference as well. Where I really find the bump switch helps out is with, especially in down tunings or lower tunings, if you've got an amp that's muddy, if you've got a guitar that's a little bit on the muddy side, especially in those lower mid frequencies, kicking the bump switch off can actually clear all of that up very quickly and allows you to get a tight, controlled, punchy bass. But with the 100 hertz knob, you were obviously able to kind of really push that low end and kind of make it very punchy. And again, that tone control really just adds some top end grind. It doesn't add like nasally mids, it adds the mids that are gonna cut in a mix. So that's why I find it incredibly useful. And on top of that, not only can you dial it in for the individual amplifier, but you can also dial it in for the individual guitar. The guitar that I'm using is actually very big in the low end, and it doesn't have a whole lot of like upper mid grind. So for this guitar, I would still leave the bump switch in because we're in standard tuning, but I would pull that 100 hertz back a bit and I would bump up the tone a bit. And I think that's a really good tone, but I'm gonna grab a guitar that is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. So my other Balaguer Typhon here is much leaner on the low end, and it's overall a brighter and basically more direct sounding guitar. So as you can hear, not as much low end response, so we can actually bump that 100 hertz up, pull the tone back just a little bit. And with those controls, we can use the overdrive to tailor the guitar to the particular amp and cab that you are going into. And that's what I think is so useful about this, because it just has so much more control over the frequencies that, to me, are really important. I really need to learn to turn my volume down when I'm doing this. To the frequencies that are really important to me personally, and I know that are important to a lot of other people who are very particular about their tone, shall we say. So with that being said, let's flip over to the PV6505 and check it out there. All right, guys, so here is the amp with no M77 out front. So yeah, personally, I think that sounds great. I really like that tone. Let's compare it back to back with a TS9 and an SD1 real quick though, just so you guys can see how it, starting with the M77. TS9. SD1. So you can hear pretty distinct differences between all three of the overdrives. They all three bring something a little bit different to the table, but the SD1 and the TS9 do not have the low controls or the low mid controls that the M77 has. I'm actually gonna bump the bass way up on the 6505, and then we're gonna pull it back on the amp and turn that bump switch off just to show you how much you can really control the bass with this pedal. Kick the pedal on. So that is a ton of low end that is being cut, but it's really kind of focusing it and tightening it. Man, I seriously love the control that you get with this pedal. You can make it work on almost anything. I absolutely love it. Finally, let's check it out on the dual rectum fryer. All right guys, multi-watt dual rec with the legendary Tones Hot Mod Evo installed in this bad boy. It is an absolute fire breather. Here's what the amplifier sounds like with no overdrive in front. So pretty woofy, not a whole lot of tightness in those palm mutes. So let's turn it on, bump switch on, but let's roll that 100 hertz back pretty significantly. So as you can see, it immediately tightened and focused the low end very, very much. Let's actually go into the vintage mode of the amplifier, and let's actually dial that 100 hertz knob up, but let's take the bump control out and pull the tone back just a little bit. Here's the amp with no drive. Man, it just tightens and focuses the amp so much. If you can take a super flubby dual rectifier and tighten it up that much, you can pretty much tighten up anything with this pedal. Let's grab a drop C guitar and I'll really show you how much you can control the low end. All right guys, I've got my Gibson Les Paul Studio Faded here with the Gallagher Bowbucker in the bridge. We're gonna turn off the overdrive. This guitar is in drop C. So as you can see, it's pretty dull, pretty muddy sounding. Let's kick in the custom badass modified overdrive. I don't know why I insist on saying the whole name every time. Let's turn that tone up a little bit. Let's bring that 100 hertz back just a bit. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. So in this case, we tightened it up too much. We kind of made it sound anemic. Let's bump the 100 hertz. Let's add a little bit of the pedals onboard gain. I mean, it practically turns it into an entirely different amp. It's insane how much control you get over things. So let's also pull back the 100 hertz. Let's kick in the bump switch though. So there you go. If you still want the thickness in the low mids, even though you're trying to control the low end and add a little bit more punch and a little bit more saturation, the pedal does that too. It literally works in almost every overdrive situation that you can think of when boosting high gain amplifiers. And that is why I love it so much. That is why it has been one of the only pedals that has stayed on my board for over 10 years. And that's why I constantly recommend it to people. On top of that, it's cheap. I'm pretty sure Sweetwater has this listed for $110. Brand new right now. So I'll put an affiliate link for that pedal down below, an affiliate link to Sweetwater. If you guys click that link, it really, really does help the channel out, and I really appreciate you guys using that. So if you guys want to get in on winning this pedal, if you are in the United States and in Canada, head to the link down below in the description. There will be a link highlighted there, and that is where you can enter the giveaway. The giveaway goes live when this video goes live, and it will be live for 72 hours. That is 3 days for those of you who don't know hours. So you've got 3 days to get in on this giveaway. All you gotta do is go to that link, follow the directions to enter. You can gain additional entry points by following my Instagram profile, by subscribing to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. And at the end of those 3 days, we will crown a winner of this beautiful Overdrive. It is not this one though, because this one is mine and it's staying with me. The one that you guys will be winning will be brand new, sealed in the box from Sweetwater. Unless you guys want me to like open up the box and sneeze in there or something weird. But that is up for the winner to decide. So do me a favor, hit that link, go down there, enter in the giveaway. I would love to give this away to one of my viewers and have them experience the glory that is the MXR M77 Custom Badass Modified Overdrive. Boy, that is a mouthful. But that is gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in the giveaway. I can't wait to see who wins this thing. Had a lot of fun making this video. It was long overdue, and thanks to my friends at Sweetwater for helping me out, sponsoring the video, and allowing one of you guys to walk away with one of these for free. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.